So it occurred to me with all the different content I've been putting on my YouTube, like highlights of me playing or the Tasteless LAN party, I figured why not just throw a little solo cast for you guys and see how that performs on there. So if you like this kind of content, let me know in the comments, like the video. It helps me with the algorithm. This is a replay of ARTOSIS versus Mini. Mini, the ASL champion, obviously ARTOSIS, my co-host for the GSL, who has now moved to Canada, but is continuing to stream and steadily improve at the game. And before we get into this video, I do want to say, shout-outs to our sponsor for this, tastelessthreads.com. I'm sponsoring my own video with my own merch. We've got a whole bunch of very cool designs. I think not too over-the-top like so much other streamer merch or gamer merch. We've got stocking stuffers. We're having a Black Friday sale right now. Check out the details on the webpage. We're going to continue to add more cool designs, not just shirts, but hoodies, mugs, cool stickers with my emotes from Twitch. So please check it out. And if you buy something, well, let me know. Tweet at me. I'll retweet you with the shirt on. All right, and now on to our game. So this is on the map Polypoid here. It is ARTOSIS in the bottom right here under the ID Valks. This was a ladder game, by the way. And here is Mini in the upper left, over here in the red. So it's going to be cross spawns, and immediately we see that a probe is going to be sent out. So this would probably be a pylon in the middle of the map. Are you the real Mini? All right. I never knew there was a bear here in the middle of the map this early on. I guess this guy disappears later on. I actually find on this map it's a lot harder to figure out where to hide your gates in the middle of the map. There's not an easy, clean spot right in the center. By the way, should I get some game sound on here, guys? Hold on. Or some music. Just realize it's kind of eerily quiet. All right, let's try that. Oh, don't see any Black Friday sale on the merch. I believe it is 15% off if you spend 75 or more, and 20% off if you spend 100 or more. Tastelessthreads.com. Anyways, into this game. So this is going to be a gate in the center of the map. Now, this is a pretty old way of playing. I don't feel like it's that common nowadays. But it is a strong way to play. One of the disadvantages about doing it on a map like this is that you have a ramp, a small ramp, so it's much more blockable. And, you know, the distance from the gateway to the main is, you know, not that close. It's certainly closer, but it's not that close. Whereas if you ever watch my games on Eclipse, I tend to proxy one gate on that map quite a bit. It's because I know exactly where they are in a two-player map, so I can get there pretty quickly. Now, in this game, he's going to get that first zealot out. We do not, as far as I can see, have the second pylon out here. Okay, there it is. Now, ARTOSIS, if we just check here under vision, doesn't see the proxy. So he doesn't know what's coming for him. The first zealot's going to come out. With this rush, you want to get in there very quickly. Now, ARTOSIS is already set up positionally to be able to run in between the barracks and the depot. Oh, we've got a Manor Pylon coming in here. So Manor Pylon now instead of getting the gas. So this is really leaning into the aggression. So this is already pretty scary, and he's going to go for another Manor Pylon right here, and he does pull it off, trapping one SCV, and so two SCVs trapped in. Zealot inbound now. Gets one hit. Now remember, every hit on the Marines is permanent. So this is really scary. He's continuing to damage these SCVs. No SCVs have been killed just yet. He does lose shields on the Zealot. Both pylons are very low. I'm going to resist my impulse to pause this. This is a replay. Because I want to kind of check what Mini's doing here, but we could actually review this in a replay format afterwards. Gets one Marine. Now again, every hit on a Marine is permanent. There's not going to be medics made in this game. He does trap that Zealot back here behind the SCVs. And it looks like this is almost held. Now, one thing to remember is that when you see this rush happen, if you start to bleed off the Zealots, the Protoss can pretty quickly lose control. I don't see an add-on yet, but I don't see a Vulture either. But ARTOSIS is going to have to make something out of this factory. He's not mining gas right now, but he will need to do that very shortly here. Back at home here for Mini, we've got the Cybernetics Core coming in, more pylons coming down. And he's going to need to get that pylon finished up here as he's going to max out on supply here. Another kill on these Marines. This one is full health, and 2 hits away from being killed. Now, when the Vulture comes out, it's considerably more difficult to actually get anything done. Basically, if the Terran controls perfectly, it's almost impossible. Although Mini, I will tell you, is kind of blowing me away right now with how much damage he is getting off. So the question now here for ARTOSIS is, does he try to come back and counter-push onto the gateway over here? Or does he play it safe and just try to expand and deal with the gateway later on? So the bunker's coming down here. Now, ARTOSIS, if you guys watch his stream on Twitch, I think it's fair to say he's definitely more of a conservative Terran. Definitely adverse to overextending. So this is perfectly fine. Bunker up here. Vulture's coming around. But notice that Mini has basically abandoned his position over here. He's not going to try to put any more pressure on here. So, you know, ARTOSIS, I think, reasonably could expand, but, you know, it's easier for me to see that than for him. Mini now getting another Dragoon out here. Dragoon range is about halfway finished. On the Terran side of things, we've got the Machine Shop add-on on the way here. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes into siege mode. I think it's one of these positions where it is awfully tempting to get siege mode and then just try to take a base and basically play it safe. Especially when the SCV comes in here and scouts, you don't see a Citadel yet. You don't see anything like a Nexus, right? So, you know, there could be Dragoons coming at you trying to barrel up into your entrance. 2 SCVs blocking. Overall worker count is virtually even here. It looks like Mini has like the slightest lead, although that's not really impactful in this game so far. Important to note that, you know, this infrastructure is going to remain out here, but it's not exactly like it's easy for Terran to kill. You know, the further away the proxy gate is, the safer you are in the mid-game if the rush doesn't kill the Terran off. So the command center started here, and that's about the same time the Nexus has started. So Mini will get his workers there a little bit more quickly, but again, no tech here just yet. The question I'm asking myself now is this going to be a Robo, which would be pretty standard, or is this going to be like a Citadel? No, it's going to be a Robo here. Now, ARTOSIS, I think, is one of the better players out there with Vultures. And so what you're seeing him do here is that he's going to run these Vultures in, but really he's going to draw these Dragoons back in, and this would be huge. These are going to go off, and one Dragoon's going to go down immediately. Big play there. And does this Vulture have enough HP to maybe kill the Dragoon? Wow, I feel like I've never seen a Vulture ever shoot down a Dragoon, but there you have it. So gets 2 Dragoons for 2 Vultures. Definitely worth it. Meanwhile, okay, this is just a barracks over here, sorry. I am observing this while I'm casting it. So, not bad. Gets those right away, but this command center not landed yet. Mini going to be transferring probes here shortly. And I think the mine's out here. This is a pretty good play in general when you see a Protoss with gateways out here like this, because you know they're not going to have observers right away, and you know you can't just let the Dragoons collect out here. And so, a very conservative move here by ARTOSIS, now landing this command center, although it doesn't seem to be too afraid. Is he going to push, perhaps? You know, I was talking siege mode. Okay, he is getting that. I was wondering if maybe there would be any opportunities for him to attack, but honestly, you could see Mini's playing pretty respectfully here. I mean, we've got the shield battery coming in here. He's very wary of a push, especially after losing those Dragoons. That's really a sign of a pretty smart player. I think a lot of people would have skipped the battery here. And so 1, 2, 3, 4 gateways come down. And ARTOSIS is, in fact, going to push. Now, he's probably just going to end up intercepting the gateway here because it's, you know, through the beeline into the base. But, you know, right now, this gateway is not of real importance here. This will kind of signal to Mini the intentions here of ARTOSIS. Now, the question I wonder is, does Mini stay back here, or does he try to come up onto the high ground? It's going to be the high ground. By the way, back here. This is a good setup for a 2-base push. This is a completely appropriate move post-proxy. Notice that ARTOSIS isn't wasting time. He's got an unpowered gateway over here right now. But this is a dangerous angle. I think it would have been wiser for ARTOSIS to push up here first. But instead, he's going to kind of come down into this gully. And I don't know that this is going to be easy for Mini to hold, but at the same time, there's a fair amount of Dragoons out here. We've got 6 Dragoons on the outside and about 5 on the inside. And he's going to go for it. He's going to come in now. Immediately guns that down. Now, the tanks are fairly well covered. Looks like this one up at the top is going to drop. The Vultures and the Marines here are tanking, but it does seem like the Dragoons have basically breached this position, and now one more siege tank is going to go. Vultures continuing to lay mines. An observer just out of range of the turret here, so Mini has a very good idea of what's going on, and I gotta say, this is a pretty good disarming play here by Mini, although this spider mine needs to be killed. There we go. So, I mean, at this point in time, I think ARTOSIS is in very bad shape, to be honest. I mean, we have Vultures coming in here. This is kind of the standard play post the tanks being killed, is to send Vultures in and see if you can't try to run back in inside to the main or the natural and get kills there. And, you know, Mini swats this attack down, but back at home here for ARTOSIS, we have an additional factory being made, and I don't see a command center anywhere right now. Excuse me. So this is kind of tough, man. You know, he is going to need to get another base. It looks like Mini is actually going to be getting a forge kind of early on, at least for, you know, what I play and how I, you know, what I've casted in my, you know, history with ASL. And so he might be afraid that since ARTOSIS isn't making a command center just yet, that there might be some kind of drop play coming here, although there is, in fact, not. So 4 gates. Again, ARTOSIS losing those tanks early on. I think it was 4 earlier. That's a bit painful because, you know, one of the easiest ways to tell how a Terran is how many tanks he's accumulated throughout the entire game. You know, Vultures are great, but they're expendable in a way that tanks really aren't. And so now Mini's in a mode here where he is going to be expanding out onto the map. He's getting a couple additional gateways here. I don't see any definitive late-game tech. I mean, this could be carriers, it could be arbiters, it could be speed shuttles with Storm even. And so ARTOSIS is going to play what I'd probably call a bit of a tighter game here. He doesn't want to give Mini the opportunity to bust him at his third. This is very ARTOSIS-esque, this move here. He likes to get, in the games I've seen when I watch a stream, a lot of factories, and tends to get the command center a little bit later. And I'll tell you, from the Protoss' perspective, this is a little bit tough to play against because you're sort of unclear as to what they're doing. You know, a lot of times the observer will dip in over here and try to see if they can spot the command center. It seems like it's fairly well covered. And so what Mini's game plan is to basically just have a threat out here. He doesn't want Terran to get too comfortable and maybe make turrets here and here and set up shop. But Mini only has, what, this is like 7 Dragoons over here. And the rest of his forces are going to be back here, although, oh my god. How long has this been going on? Well, looks like it's coming to an end now. He's got probes being transferred here. Pretty egregious mistake here by Mini to have workers not there. And this does size up to be an Arbiter tech. We'll get the confirmation when that's made. There it is now. And so it's going to slow down a little bit, it looks like here. In this game, it's going to be, you know, an inevitable third base with Protoss just now taking a 4th. You know, it was a bit of an action-packed start, but, you know, especially when the Terran elects to make a bunch of factories but not push, and then basically ARTOSIS has built up enough of an army that he can safely take this, and there's really not a lot Mini can do. But yeah, it's kind of hard for Protoss to really do too much to the Terran right away. Now, that being said, I don't think that ARTOSIS has any incentive as a Terran to try to attack out after he takes us either. You basically take this base and start to power up. So the Nexus finishes, and dude, again, Mini, I mean, I just don't see workers here. And so, you know, this is kind of a bad sign for him, to be honest with you. I mean, you need to transfer your workers pretty quickly here. ARTOSIS also slightly late here with the worker transfer. And supplies are fairly even. Mini's in a bit of a lead. Usually the Protoss is always in a bit of a lead supply-wise. If the Terran has matched the Protoss here with supply, then the Terran basically has a better army. So, without a fourth command center being made, and I certainly don't see it unless you guys see it, let me know in the chat here. It looks like this is going to be a 3-base power-up play. He's already at +1 attack. Let's see here. Where's the armory? This armory is not spinning. The second armory is started. So this is going to be started in a little bit here. And he's going to be having +2 attack, +1 armor. This is an older way to play. I guess when I say old, it was figured out, this style, a long time ago. It's still used a lot today. But this 2-1 upgrade style was around even before StarCraft 2, actually. And it's a good way to play. You know, if you want to, like, copy a style, at least late game, you know, just kind of getting the +2 attack, +1 armor timing push out here is a good way to play. The Protoss is considerably weaker, at least with, like, Dragoons and Zealots versus Tanks and Vultures once those upgrades are out. And so you can see Mini's basically just looming back here. He's not going to overcommit. He may set up for a bust, though. We have the Arbiter out now. Stasis is almost done. And one of the ways the Protoss can play against this sort of campy 3-base style is to stasis, like maybe like right around here or somewhere where you think you can get about 3 or more tanks. And then run in and basically trade Zealots specifically, but Dragoons as well, out for tanks. Now, I got to point out, I really feel like ARTOSIS has kind of neglected, I'm sorry, I mean Mini, excuse me, has neglected this bottom base over here that ARTOSIS is now going to take. And I'm sorry, guys, I totally missed the command center. My bad. This is why observing and casting can be tricky. So it's going to be a 4-base. So instead of the 2-1 timing attack, which eventually is still going to happen because we see both the armories are upgrading here, it's going to be a Terran on 4-base. So this is going to present some issues for Mini. One problem for the Protoss with this base over here is like a lot of, you know, high ground bases where they have like a small ramp, especially like a narrow valley leading up to it. You kind of can't get in there without probably losing your whole army. And so there's not much incentive to take that. So this seems like it's going to pick up into kind of a crazy macro game. We've got the 5th base with almost overly perfectly timed probes coming in here. He'll make those mine in a second. But, you know, a Terran on 4-base on Polypoid is a pretty scary thing. And, by the way, Arbiter here with about 100 energy. And so, I gotta say, like, there should be a stasis inbound here or a recall of some sort, because otherwise you can't do much here. So, now we wait. We're kind of getting to the boiling point of this game. Notice ARTOSIS has a vessel over here. This is to catch an EMP in case you come into the main. That's an easy way to lose the game as Terran. I've certainly seen ARTOSIS tie to that a couple times. The other vessel is going to be over here because it's possible to then just do a recall, and that's what's going to happen over here. Hold on. Can you get the EMP? He doesn't have the energy. This recall is going to go off. Oh, the last second. Pure Zealot recall. The mines are going to come in here. And I got to say, actually kind of an abysmal recall. I mean, it's pretty handily shut down. That being said, Mini's going to spike up in supply again in a second here. He's already setting up shop in the 2 mains. This is going to make a very scary late game here. when you get the cannons up here, it's also hard for the Terran to just slide up into the mains and hit them. And so, you know, ARTOSIS is going to have to act. Now, in this lull, we see that there's going to be more units cranked out, but where does ARTOSIS go exactly? You know, there are gateways being warped in over here. I guess just cannons over here for now. And here comes the attack now. Now, I think a stasis just now would be a bit unwise, but ARTOSIS is being pretty fast. He's moving out. Mini's doing a pretty good job, by the way. Okay, Mini dodges the MP. Beautifully done. And ARTOSIS is going to continue with the leapfrogging here. He just needs to pull the rest of these tanks up here. Now, there should be a Psystorm available right now. Beautifully done. Doing a lot of damage over here. But it looks like ARTOSIS is pretty relentless here. He's going to continue to inch in here and do more and more damage. And if ARTOSIS can basically close this area off up here, it's going to be really bad. He does do a defensive matrix onto this one tank up here in the front, making this a very undesirable location to attack in. Man, the tank spread is kind of insane down here. Now, this Nexus most certainly is going to go down, but the Protoss isn't contained just yet. And so, now we got to see, you know, can Mini kind of wriggle free from this? He does have the gateways. Excuse me, I'm getting so zoomed out here. Down here. I do see an Arbiter with about 173 energy. So where's he going to recall? Is he going to go right into the main? This could be devastating, but ARTOSIS does have a setup here. There's mines right over this. Oh my God! And it all goes down. Many wounded zealots over here. They're going to easily be picked off here by these vultures. I like the idea of the recall. That would have forced some units back, but when, you know, you have 2 bad recalls in a game like this, you're probably going to lose, to be honest, man. Very nicely done here. Again, this base is an issue, but the reality is all of the gateways are over here. And if they're all here, to be honest, I mean, you can't really get out of positions like this. As the vultures lay mines, the Goliaths are here to block, the Vessel's here to spot onto the high ground, and the siege tanks are really here to do all the damage. Now, there's another Arbiter out here on the map, and I guess he's going to go for a recall. That's probably the best he can hope for right now. Can he salvage this base? This game's not quite over just yet. There we go. He does get a recall over here. I got to say, Mini's handling of this really bad situation is pretty impressive. But, you know, step 1 was ARTOSIS containing here. Step 2 is to fracture off tanks like he's doing here and basically start to hammer down the remaining expansions. Meanwhile, another push coming down over here. And, I mean, this is starting to look really, really bad here. Well, hold on. Maybe Mini's going to be able to actually stabilize right now. Not that many probes here. The problem really is that he can't get out here. And if you look at the supplies, I guess this is really the big highlight here. It's 194 to 113. And so, I mean, as long as ARTOSIS can basically keep the ball rolling here. He's also expanding over here and over here. There's really not a whole lot, I think, to be said. I think this game's almost over. Yeah, I think this is the nail in the coffin here. Even though Mini has some stuff out on the map, I just don't know that this is going to be a recoverable position, man. And, yeah, I just don't. I think that's probably going to be it. Especially if this can't be broken over here. So I think this game's almost going to come to an end right now. I mean, at this point in time, this small amount of units isn't going to be able to do much. ARTOSIS can't even spend his money. He's got so much here. And, yeah, with stasis here, it doesn't really matter. Isn't going to do anything. And the Dragoons are just going to come up. That's going to be it. GG. That is game. Thank you for watching that. I appreciate that. I don't know, you know, what kind of content you guys like on my YouTube, but if you want to see more stuff like that, more solo casts by me of ARTOSIS, but obviously other players as well, yeah, tell me about it. And maybe we can do some more content like this on my stream. Do check out tastelessthreads.com, where you can find our awesome merch, a lot of cool stuff on there. And join me on Twitch. I stream 1:30 p.m. KST, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and sometimes I'm on some other random times. But we're doing StarCraft and a lot of other games. I appreciate you watching the video, and I'll see you next time.